Alright, how's it going, everyone? This is Black Mamba 44 coming back at ya. Wish I could say live. I'm not live. I'm not alive. But, I'm bringing you a new game. So, I'm actually pretty decent at this one, and it's called Tyranny. So, it's produced by Paradox, and I believe Obsidian also has a hold on it. It's a game that I pre-ordered, came out last year, I believe 2016 is when it came out, and it's been like a great game for me. I love it. So some people have problems with the game. I really liked it, and I'm just super excited about this game. And they recently came out with some DLC that I purchased. And I figure, I'm starting my YouTube channel. Try to do Battle Brothers, that's not really my thing. I don't want to be the Binding of Isaac person. So, why not do Tyranny, right? So, yeah, I say, let's fucking do this. Okay. So, they have difficulty options. This is turned off. So, death is characters will die permanently when their health reaches 0 and they're at the maximum number of wounds allowed. So, essentially, this is a game where you don't die when your health reaches 0. You get wounded. And it's sort of like, if you've ever played Pillars of Eternity, it's sort of like that. So, the game can have auto death if you want. I'm not really a fan of that because I really like some of the characters. And then you can also auto level companions. That's sort of a stupid move. You can auto pause. So I might do auto pause when characters are attacked. I don't really care about low health. Sure, when enemies spotted. But don't stop party movement. Yeah. So that'll work. There's controls, graphics, colorblind mode, which is cool. They have Gibbs, which I don't, sure, put that on. And then there's sound, in the game itself. So there's subtitles. You can show reputation. I turned that off a while ago. Save changes, you don't ask me ever again. I don't own you, you're a free man. So, let me just give you a brief explanation of Tyranny. Sorry about that. So, a brief explanation of Tyranny is, this is a game in which evil, quote-unquote, has won. So, evil, there's an evil overlord, and he basically runs everything. So it's up to you to really choose your destiny, in a sense. So, I'll get into that, so I could continue, no point, let's do a new game. So, normal difficulty requires strategy and efficiency, but forgives a few mistakes in combat. Companion combat AI is enabled by default. A Trial of Iron gives you 1 save slot. I'm not doing that. New Game Plus, I could. Not interested. Expert mode disables some helper features. Yeah, let's go expert mode. I've already played the game. Hard difficulty. I am a veteran of Pillars of Eternity, and I'm looking for a little bit of a challenge. I'm fine with micromanagement. That's fine. Path of the Damned. I am not party. Ooh, daddy-o. That's not for me right now. So let's accept and let's get into it. I'll show everyone the intro, and then after that, we'll just bounce right into it. So something that has been levied against Tyranny, and I do sort of agree with this, loading times are really long. Like that was like 10 seconds too long, but in actuality they're like...
For over 400 years, the armies of Kairos the Overlord have swept across the known world. All who stood against them fell before their might. Even the Archons, women and men of immense power, were forced to kneel, chained to the Overlord's will. Now Kairos' final conquest has come to our corner of the world, and two of the Overlord's armies compete for the honor of taking our lands. The elite disfavored, and the teeming horde of the Scarlet Chorus. The voices of Nerat, spymaster and Archon of secrets, guides the fierce and undisciplined masses of the Scarlet Chorus. With each battle, the Scarlet Chorus grows stronger, as the defeated are given a simple choice: serve or die. Graven Ash, Archon of War and the Overlord's most loyal general, leads the disfavored. Though small in number, Kairos' ironclad legion has never met true defeat in open battle. Watching over the two generals is Tyranny, the Adjudicator, Archon of Justice, eldest of Kairos' minions. Tyranny brings Kairos' laws to newly conquered lands, aided by the Fatebinders, judges and executioners of the Overlord's laws. You were among the youngest of the court of Fatebinders when Kairos' armies came to our lands. How could we have known that the fate of thousands would rest in your hands?
Alright, so, see, basically there's Kairos the Overlord, you get to choose your gender. So, basically, you can choose whatever you want. I played a guy last time, so I like to play different types of characters. Let's try that. Let's try a thick mama. Maybe, let's just go first one. So I'll read what's on the right. So a role in the Northern Empire where you were born. Women enjoy equal protections under the laws of Overlord Kairos. In the southern lands of the Tiers, women may crew a ship, but only men may own or captain a vessel. While these customs give the oceans to the men, the lands are trusted to the women. Men may rent and lease, but only women may own lands and bequeath it to their daughters and sisters. While following a parent's profession is standard, many women choose to pledge service to one of the Overlord's powerful Archons. Those without a viable trade or lands to call their own are often drafted into the armies of the Archons, where it is assumed they will rise to glory or vanish in obscurity in accordance to their worth. And then if you go men, it sort of just changes it, but we're going to go women, so I'm not going to read all that right now. Face and hair. So, face, let's do you, because you look all pissed off. Hair, I want to do bald right now. Oh no, that's decent. Yeah, sure. Oh, dead ass. Or that, I guess. I don't know, I like combat hair. I guess that's combat hair, I don't fucking know. Red. I like red hair. I like brown hair too. Female sneaky.
That wasn't so hard. You must rest soon.
Female.
Curious.
And of course my favorite is you can be a woman, but... Good work! And that's what I like to do, so we're rolling that. That's my shit. Also, you get tattoos and stuff. So, let's see, that's a bunch of writing. You can have a fucking tree. You can have a couple, like, stars, like, on your leg, you know, the no fear stars that were, like, all the rage in 2010. You can have fucking tribal tat if you want. A silly snake on your leg. You can have fucking this thing wherever it is. I'm probably missing it. Probably on your tits. Oh, it's on your hands. How are you gonna get a job? Oh, more tribals. I actually like this. I don't think that's bad, but I want to. Oh, daddy-o, that's not bad either. I don't mind when it has shit that like goes all over. I think that's funny. That's more like animalistic, minimalista. You know what I'm saying? We'll do some Cthulhu shit right here.
You learn something every day.
That's what I'm talking about. So yeah, she just has some in her throat, and that's just sort of her thing. So let's see. Which one looks the most like you? I could do a custom portrait, but I mean, it doesn't change the fact that, like, I'm still a guy. Maybe she's post-op transgender, you know? Who knows? Who the fuck knows, right? You're Asian. You have a cool tat. You have armor. Let's just go with the average one. Alright, so here we are. So now you choose your origin. So today you are a Fatebinder, agent of the Archon of Justice. You are by no means free, but as a warrior scholar deputized with discretionary powers to interpret and execute the laws of the Overlord Kairos, you are freer than most. And you can actually go over this. And it mentions Kairos is a name out of legend, and you can read all this. I'm not interested. I will only, if there's green text, I'll read that. And you'll see what I mean probably in the next episode that I play. But one does not apply to be a Fatebinder. One is called by Tunin, the Archon of Justice, and to decline is death. Millions of men and women live in the dozens of realms ruled by the Overlord. How did you stand out from amongst this teeming mass of desperation and insignificance and gain the Archon's notice? So when I first played, I chose Pit Fighter. Not wishing to pay to feed and house two, the madam that purchased your mother sold you to the Proving Grounds, the Northern Empire's bloodiest, most notorious fighting arena. Given only enough training to assure the show isn't over too soon, your natural prowess and survival instinct led you to one victory after another. There's no elegant swordplay, no formalized duels, just brutal melee and the stench of blood, shit, and bronze with each day's gruesome necessities. It is said that any fighter that slays a dozen others in the grand melee is given her freedom, but in 300 years, only 3 warriors have ever walked away from the Proving Grounds. When the closing horn sounded and 13 corpses lay about your feet, you became the 4th to be granted freedom to thunderous applause. But this autonomy was short-lived. Within days, word of your accomplishment made its way to the Archon of Justice. That's not bad. You have Hunter. When the leader of your home village spoke out of turn one time too many, agents of the Overlord put the whole town to the torch to contain the spread of insubordination. The Bounding Viper tribe came across the smoking ruins of your village. When the Beast Matriarch found you frozen but unafraid, the mighty leader took you in and raised you with the protection of her tribe. For years, you lived with these wild beastmen in their migratory homes throughout the mountains, but the Bounding Vipers were a dying breed. Each long winter took a greater toll than the last, and once the dwindling tribe was too weak to defend its lands, disfavored soldiers came to dispense of the ravenous scavengers your tribe had become. Finding a human amongst the wild tribe, the disfavored soldiers made a point taking you alive. News of the wild child of the north eventually spread to the Archon of Justice, and he ordered you released from captivity and delivered unto his court. And I have Guild Apprentice. Deeply proud of your intelligence, your powers. Your parents always knew you were too smart for a life spent with your hands in the soil. Looking to secure a better future, your parents struck a bargain with the Seven Tree Guild, small magical order willing to teach you letters, numbers, and magic, if you proved capable. For several years, you learned much from the mages, mastering reading and writing faster than the rest, and eventually learned the basics of mystical theory and spellcraft. Your magical studies came to an abrupt halt when the voices of Narat, Archon of Secrets, deemed the guild's peacetime distraction that must be disbanded for the upcoming war, its mages assigned to proper armies. While your peers went on to other guilds, your mind was seen as too valuable to be wasted on the armies. Instead, your life was claimed by Tunin, Archon of Justice. Excuse me. So, not gonna lie to you guys, I was thinking of doing a more magic-based character, but I'm not sure. You know, I fought as someone who had two-handed weapons last time. That was actually a lot of fun. I might do it again this time. I might do more bows this time. The interesting thing about the game is that you can equip any weapon, your character just naturally gets better. You know, they sort of said, yeah, you know, over time, you're just going to get better, but what you start off with is based on your choices here. So I might do that, but I'm not sure. You have Noble Scion. So, born to noble parents, you are groomed for leadership. Your youth spent on letters, history, rhetoric, and other matters of culture and statecraft. Though you had wealth and creature comforts, you are expected to grow up quickly and bear the honor of shepherding others through prosperity and war. When your parents came under accusations of sedition, you were sent to the court of Tunin, Archon of Justice, to defend your family's actions. Your parents were found guilty. Their sentence, the dissolution of the treasonous estate. Eloquently pleading your own ignorance on your family's actions, you negotiated your most important deal yet, immunity from the crimes of your family for the simple cost of swearing fealty to the Archon himself. Despite the unwilling induction, your education savvy made you a valuable addition to the Archon's cadre of enforcers. So long as you remain in good standing, your family just might be allowed to live. Soldier. Unable to settle the year's accounts with grain, your parents offered you as a tithe to the Overlord instead. Nice. Seeing your first battles as a child, you've known all your life how to fight, how to stay calm at the sight of blood and disembowelment, how to rely on your fellow warriors. Deemed smarter than your average killer, you were groomed for command and given an education, letters and numbers. The rumors of war, it seemed recruitment into the disfavored legion would be the obvious match for your skills, but the Archon of Justice is known to say that good iron is not used for swords, good minds are not used for soldiers. Claimed by Tunin, you were instead drafted into the Court of Fatebinders, where your martial skills were put to use in the enforcement of Kairos' law. Yeah, laws. Lawbreaker. Accused of a crime you most certainly did commit, you stood before Tunin the Adjudicator, Archon of Justice, and argued your case with eloquence and conviction. Impressed by your logic, reason, and confidence, he found you guilty anyway. It is rumored that Tunin selects many of his agents from his prisoners. Who better to catch the wicked than those versed in such ways? In his mercy, Tunin offered you the choice of two sentences. Decades languishing in prison, or a lifetime serving him in the Court of Fatebinders. Choice was an easy one, and instead of seeing the inside of a cell, you were trained in letters and numbers, magic and war. The laws you once broke are now yours to interpret and enforce. Interpret. So, as a Fatebinder, this is actually very important that it says interpret. It's not the laws themselves, it's how your character actually sees them. And that's actually for everyone. It's not like, oh, lawbreaker you can enforce, but soldier you go by the word. No, like it's all about, oh, I interpret it this way. War Mage. Few have the combination of wits and courage to be accomplished casters and warriors. Those cursed with such a combination of talents are invariably pulled from their mundane lives and assigned to the armies of the Archons. Excuse me. Your earliest memories are a painful slog of training, study, lecture, and exhaustion. All the elements of being groomed for battle. You knew better than to ask what became of your family, nor to question the missives allegedly penned by their hand that were part of your earliest lessons in reading. When you reached adulthood, Tunin the Adjudicator came to the barracks and laid claim to your life. Seeing you as too valuable for the crucible of battle, the Archon of Justice deemed your life better spent dedicated to the art of punitive legal remedies. Though you had much to learn in matters of civil discourse, none could deny your bright future as Tunin's next great enforcer. Or a diplomat. Though they will never tell you why, Kairos bestowed great wealth upon your family for some unmentioned service, and your parents used this wealth to have you raised far from home. Your childhood was a nomadic tour of Terratus, with hired tutors and fleeting friendships. Where others had stability and routine, you had a worldly and varied education. Careless word in a far-flung city landed you in legal trouble. You were taken before Tunin the adjudicator and made to stand trial. Not only did you plead your innocence, but you turned the accusations around on the accuser for wasting the court's time, and the Archon of Justice concurred. Amused by your wit, wisdom, and adaptability, Tunin claimed you as his new enforcer. I think War Mage sounds pretty good because it's like you're super exhausted. Maybe Guild Apprentice. You know what? 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, no. Guild Apprentice. Yeah, let's just go for it. So primary expertise. As one of Tunin's Fatebinders, you receive trained in the arts of war, the intrigue of magic, and the inexhaustible depths of Kairos' law. Across the Northern Empire, the education of a Fatebinder is second to none. Those bearing the title are expected to read instructions and understand the economies of the realm which they operate. Literacy and mathematics, skills rarely found in Terratus, are essential skills in the execution of law. Subtler talents like speechcraft or tactics are honed with time and expertise under Tunin's guidance. So let's look. So there's atrophy skills, frost spells, shock spells, vigor spells. So this is basically buffs. This is like attacks that prevent people from attacking. That deals cold damage, and that weakens people. So I think I'll do frost spells first. Yeah. And secondary expertise. Believing that all of his agents should be well-rounded, Tunin ordered that you receive training in the secondary combat style. Fatebinders are often deployed into treacherous circumstances, and one's ability to adapt to unexpected changes, like sudden violence or illegal entanglement, can represent the difference between life and death. I say... I already went dual wielding once. Let's go motherfucking War Mace, son. Yeah, yeah, god damn. That's what I'm talking about. We have Sunder and we have Cleave. Powerful overhead attacks that reduces the target's armor. Yeah, let's go Cleave. I really like Cleave. Cleave, yeah. Next. Banner. So now we choose our banner. You know, we have all these choices, so let's just go through. Nothing too scary, right? You know, maybe some Christmas trees. Who knows? Well, I'm Frost and I do fucking War Mace shit, so... Arrows wouldn't make that much sense. Oh, there's a big-ass hammer. Now that makes sense. Red. Orange. Make that green. Make it blue. Make it purple. Dark purple. Red. Dark red. Black. White. I think black is the best. And then you get to choose your character's colors. So these are like primary. This is your armor and shit. So that's how you look most of the time. Yeah, let's go fucking like Sub-Zero or Scorpion or some shit. Yeah, yeah, that's better. Enter name. So whenever I play a male character, I always go Bran Chan. That's not my name. You know, that's actually playing Knights of the Republic. That was the first name that they ever gave me. Playing females is always confusing. Because I'm not good with female names. I don't want to use my girlfriend's name. So enter name. I'll say... Well, I have a Linux book in front of me. So Linux is your name. Might, finesse, everything else. So let's see. So might, helps attack. Finesse, fentile, and mental precision. Determine the accuracy of attacks and spells. Quickness is how often you can use abilities and spells in combat. I think maybe 2 quickness. Like, I mean, we could go all the way up, but I don't see why. You increase that kind of stuff a lot. So maybe finesse 2, might 2, resolve is endure physical and mental challenges. Wits, their ability to observe their environment. Increase spell strength. Yeah, I think spell strength is better. So, spell strength. Yeah, let's do it. Magic staff. So now we have 20 points, and we can use them however much we want to sort of say, oh, like this. So I really like to put points into like one specific thing most of the time. So I think 5, 5, 5. Athletics, dodge, lore. I like having a lot of lore in this game. It gives you a lot of extra little things. Yeah. So I think 5, 5, 5, and 5. Okay. And let's do quick conquest. Let me check time. Sorry about that. Actually, looking here, I think that I'll split this into 2 parts. So, actually, no. We're at like 26 minutes. That's why I was checking. I was checking OBS. So, sorry if got super quiet for a second. So, we'll do Conquest. It shouldn't take too long. And then, after that...
All the world has fallen to Kairos. And now the Overlord's eye is on the Tears, our home. The last corner of the world free of Kairos' reign. 2 armies, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, march south from the Northern Empire, the last realm to fall to Kairos a century prior. In the early days of 428, Kairos' armies arrive at the Gates of Judgment, the mountainous border that we Tearsmen so long believed unassailable. Unable to agree on a unified plan of defense, the various leaders of the Tears sit and wait for each other to deal with the conquerors, until it's too late.
Alright, so now we choose our own history. So Conquest. During the Conquest, you will decide your character's actions during Kairos' invasion of the Tears, shaping the world through which you will adventure over the course of the game. Each choice you make affects your character and how major factions of the Tears will respond to you. Your decisions matter, choose wisely. And that's actually super important. Oh, 428 TR, year 1 of Kairos' Conquest. Bastard City. The Bastard City stood on the northern border between Kairos' empire and the Tears. Built upon a natural harbor at the crossroads between realms, the city was a nexus of commerce. To the Tears, it was a center of all wealth. To a northerner, it was little more than a backwater trading post. Its symbolic status as a gateway to the continent made it a natural first target in Kairos' military conquest. Circumstances were ideal for you to prove your worth as a soldier in Kairos' armies. Taking the city would send a message to the rest of the Tears. Kairos' will is insurmountable. Next. So now, select a token on the map to begin. So, Gates of Judgment. Its first major engagement of the war, Kairos' armies cross the mountains and establish a foothold. Or, infiltrate the Tears. Both armies send their forces to prepare the way. And you can sort of choose either one. So, history would remember the Gates of Judgment as the first battle of the conquest, but the real combat unfolded with advanced units of both armies preparing for the coming war. Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus each had a plan to infiltrate the capital city. Which army did you join? So, disfavored scouts. You lent your skills to the elite disfavored scouts to capture a border garrison. Raven Ash insisted that an early victory in the offensive would boost the morale of his troops and diminish the haughty overconfidence of the Southerners. Or you join the Scarlet Chorus as they raided villages and small towns, conscripting every able-bodied man woman into the army. Voices of Narat emphasize the rewards of conscription, enslavement over want and bloodshed. Apparently, his soldiers needed the reminder. Let's go. We can look at both. So, Gates of Judgment. The armies of Kairos took the battle to the Gates of Judgment, trumpeting the opening calls of the conquest of the Tears. The two armies, disfavored in the Scarlet Chorus, brought their distinctive sense of order and chaos to the assault, and went to battle alongside the army whose approach best suited your strengths. Standing shield to shield with Kairos' ironclad elite, you advanced on the mercenary army purchased by the nobles of the Bastard City. A legion wanted to send a message to the Tears that superior breeding and disciplined training would win the day. Or, you rushed with the chaotic mass of the Scarlet Chorus, flanked the Bastard City's armies, and drove them to flee. I feel like this character would infiltrate. Also, last time I sided with the disfavored. The disfavored, number one, were awesome, but I want something different, because I know how that story plays out. They might have changed that with some of the DLC, but I'm not gonna go and replay with the disfavored. I'm aiming towards the Scarlet Chorus. Now that doesn't mean I'm gonna choose everything, but I like how the Scarlet Chorus conscripts people. The disfavored, like, kill everyone. So we'll join them. Infiltrate the Tears. The howling mobs of the Scarlet Chorus found easy pickings among the villagers and frontier towns. Rallying an experienced gang under your control, you flooded the unprotected settlements with a deluge of bloodthirsty soldiers, rounding up the innocent for merciless rites of conscription. The young and infirm alike received makeshift weapons, and examples were made of all who challenged your forces. Bolstered with fresh recruits, your army gathered strength for the invasion to come. Now, you can't go back, so now, inside agent, you found an ally within the city to prepare the way for the approaching armies, or the Bastard City's resident fire mages threatened the first leg of the conquest. Kairos' forces put a stop to their unchecked power. I think my mage would go deal with mages. The fiercest opponents in the Bastard City were the mages of the School of Wild Wrath. Too barbaric to use their power responsibly, the unbridled practitioners need to be stopped. How do you trick the hot-tempered mages into their own undoing? So, lure them to a disfavored ambush, amine with the voices of Narat. So, you lured the hot-headed mages to an ambush where Legion of Disfavored waited to spring the trap. Soldiers were hungry for a chance to subdue the arcane branch of Tyr's resistance. You tricked the guild elders into meeting with the voices of Narat, Archon of Secrets. The Archon was notorious for his cruel and mysterious interrogation techniques. Mages were never seen again. Yeah, let's go disfavored. The mages took their most dangerous research outside the Bastard City's walls. You sent a scout to sabotage a delicate ritual which caused an explosion that injured or killed many senior practitioners. Enraged, that's a that's a thing. So enraged, the survivors expended themselves on a chase through the surrounding hills, where the disfavored followed them and brought them to heel. The few that survived the attack were conscripted by the Scarlet Chorus, so they were still taken in. Your tactics of infiltration placed you in the Bastard City ahead of the main armies. Your work softened the city defenses for the arrival of Kairos' forces, but you wanted a decisive gesture that would give your allies a meaningful advantage. How did you assist in the fall of the Bastard City? So we have 3. So, we can choose disfavored, which is good. So you challenge the commander of the Bastard City's defenses to an honorable fight to the death. Disfavored wished to spare soldier lives for the battle ahead and civilian lives for occupation. Spreading the word of Kairos, you converted the poor and disaffected into the army of the Scarlet Course. Once the dust settled, the army wished to bolster their troops with these sleeper cells. Or, this is Tunin. So this is the guy who is basically your boss. So it came to the shadows, you eliminated the leaders of the bastard city one by one. Huh. Now, I really like Tunin. I think he's awesome. The ability is Concealing Shadows. Create a cloud of obscuring shadows and dust for a short duration. Enemies that use physical attacks against you, god damn it, have a significantly increased chance to miss. During this time, your attacks will also be less effective. We have Searing Palm, which gathers heated energy into your hands and release it onto a foe. Maybe. And Warrior's Respite. So stand your ground in the face of defeat. During this time, you will generate health rapidly. Damage is significantly reduced. I mean, maybe. Maybe Searing Palm. So, these are abilities. So it's, you know, you have magic. You can use, like, bows and arrows. You know, go hand to hand. And you have abilities that have cooldowns. I'm thinking that I might do this one because I also really like Tunin. And I'm fine with having more dodge and more parry. So, some deaths were quiet and unnoticed, while others were gruesome beyond words. As a wave of murder overtook the city's elite, it should be C-I-T-I-E-S, your deeds swelled in infamy. Well before the armies arrived, no one in the bastard city felt safe in their homes, much less behind their walls. By the time Kairos' forces crested the horizon, the city was fearful enough to throw open the gates and welcome their new protectors. Alright, and the bastard city has fallen. So up here, that's first one done. And now we get to choose one of two areas. So, Lethian's Crossing is deposits of iron made the settlement of Lethian's Crossing a strategic war asset. Kairos sent the Forge-bound, smith mages of exceptional skill to establish a flow of weaponry. Tunin the Adjudicator sent one of his Fatebinders to ensure the enforcement of Kairos' law, or Apex. So the troops of the mountain realm of Apex stood idle in the safety of their valley, biding their time as their neighbors in the bastard tier fell. In the second year of war, a joint force of the disfavored and Scarlet Chorus crossed over the mountains to take control of the tier's central valley. So, they said forge-bound, smith mages. They got mages. I think my girl would go help the mages. You know what I'm saying? Also, 429 TR, year 2 of Kairos' conquest. Also, what they've said is that every choice that you don't make, someone else is doing the same thing, but they're choosing, like, the worst way to go about it. So it's, there's some where it's like, oh yeah, like, let some of the people survive. And they'll go, nope, kill them all. So, you know, it's me not going to Apex means whatever bad shit happens there is gonna stay there. Years ago, Lethian the Bold found a small merchant town at the intersection of ancient Old Walls. A pact between the settlers and a mercenary company meant that caravans were able to travel without fear of bandit or bane, and the town thrived in modest insignificance. Lethian's Crossing drew Kairos' attention for the iron deposits in the surrounding hills. With the region under Kairos' control, the northern smith mages could set up workshops to refine ore and arm the disfavored with the finest weapons in the known world. The Archon of Secrets dismantled the mercenary support with a generous bribe, taking the crossing in a bloodless victory. Tunin dispatched you to travel alongside Kairos' forces and bring order to the region. That is interesting. So, you know, first I wanted to show, you know, if you really want, you can click on both, go through it all. But I'm going to go the iron must flow. You found a clever solution to improve production of iron weapons and armor. The Cult of Siren. The Archon of Song's power ensnared the mind of a disfavored soldier. My character would do this. Siren, Archon of Song, used her arcane charm to lure locals into joining Kairos' army. As a patroness of the Scarlet Chorus, her efforts were critical to the conscription of new recruits. When an enthralled, disfavored soldier joined her cult, his company feared that the Archon was growing out of control and needed to be stopped. The disfavored demanded that the Archon of Song cease her recruitment practices and that they be allowed to violently subdue her cult of followers. The loss of soldiers was a significant setback to the Scarlet Chorus's conscription effort. In Scarlet Chorus tradition, he sent the latest batch of cultists to the front lines of the Apex campaign. Those who survived were welcome to remain Kairos' military. Their performance would stand as testimony to Siren's effectiveness. I think that we might go Scarlet Chorus tradition. I think that sounds better because, you know, even if it disfavored soldiers there, that's not on us. So Scarlet Chorus agreed to transfer Siren's latest recruits to the front lines of the Apex campaign. Your resolution fit their traditional model of conscription, so they considered it a fair alternative. In the weeks to come, more of them returned to active duty than even Siren herself expected, likely owing to their obsessive devotion to the Archon and her enchanting music. Alright, so ancient threats who protected the city from the attacks of arcane predators, or a Red Anvil, a forge-bound mage swore allegiance to the Scarlet Chorus, creating strife between the armies. Ooh. I think I might protect it. Drawn to the arcane energy around the forges, mystical predators from the nearby Old Walls began to raid Lethian's Crossing at all hours. Both of Kairos' armies reserved their strength for the front lines of the war, and yet the city required protection. He had to delegate the responsibility somewhere. As the largest army, he tasked the Scarlet Chorus with the burden of security. The disfavored took the opportunity to gather their strength. Since the disfavored used most of the iron that came out of Lethian's Crossing to fellow them to stand as the city's vigilant protectors, Scarlet Chorus enjoyed a necessary reprieve. Oh. Oh. Damn. So see, even though you're choosing the disfavored, it's like, choose the Scarlet Chorus. They can, they can protect the walls. I think I'll choose the disfavored, though. Though the disfavored were averse to your ruling, they couldn't argue with the reasoning behind it. They rallied in the streets of Lethian's Crossing, patrolling unlearned shifts that lasted day and night in an impressive show of force. They managed to repel several attacks from the predators in districts that would have otherwise suffered great harm. It will do some good. The disfavored still detested you for keeping them from the battle with their real enemy in the Tears. So tragedy struck when a mercenary hired by the Voices of Nerat injured a forge-bound artisan, leaving him unable to practice his craft. Tunin ordered the mercenaries to leave the city in the hands of Kairos' more responsible servants. Jesus. Only a token garrison could be left behind while the armies returned to the front. As Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus showed increasing tension and hostility towards each other, Tunin decreed it best that only one force control the crossing. Who controlled it? You granted control of Lethian's Crossing to the Disfavored, or the Scarlet Chorus? I think Disfavored, because all the iron's coming out, right? Like, I already put them on patrol. So yeah. The Disfavored placed a modest garrison in the settlement of Lethian's Crossing. Though the force was larger than might be needed to police the settlement, protecting the forge-bound ironsmiths became the true agenda of the defense force, as the magical craftsmen kept the disfavored invasion force suited in iron. Relieved at the departure of the Scarlet Chorus, the citizens of Lethian's Crossing felt they got the least of two burdens. You received word from Gavin Ash thanking you for your decision. The forge-bound and their weaponry could not be entrusted to the Voices of Nerat. Alright, so I chose the disfavored there. I actually think I went Apex last time. So now we can choose Azure. That's the Archon of Stone. Conquering gaze fell upon the Vellum Citadel, its treasures, its knowledge, its secrets, or Stalwart. Easily defended positions and rich military tradition. Realm Stalwart was the most formidable realm in the Tears. I think Vellum Citadel, right? Yeah, I think my character would go there. I think Linux would like that place. 430. So this is all like in a 3-year span, right? The Vellum Citadel was an archive and library of massive scale. Its inhabitants were known as a school of ink and quill, a circle of mages that centuries ago carved out their own mountainous refuge on lands unsettled by the other major realms. Legends said that the Citadel housed a treasure trove of arcane knowledge. The Overlord's spies infiltrated the school and confirmed as much. Time was ripe to send a detachment to the Great Library Fortress and force the scholars to yield to Kairos. Next. So, Siren's song ensnared some stealthy sages. Or, peaceful surrender turned bloody. Song of ensnarement. So, Siren, Archon of Song, used her power to enthrall enemy mages who crept beyond the Citadel walls. After Kairos' forces rounded up the arcane practitioner, Disfavored began executing the new captives before they could share dangerous knowledge, a crime under Kairos' law with the Scarlet Chorus. So we can muzzle them. You calm the Disfavored with a promise. The sages' mouths would be bound with iron bridles, preventing them from speaking their forbidden knowledge. Or you punish the Disfavored for executing mages bound to the Scarlet Chorus, ordering that several Disfavored soldiers be given to the Archon of Song as her personal bodyguards. Huh. Yeah, that's true, because then they're joining Siren. So see, this is what I mean by you have to interpret it. So I'm interpreting it as the Disfavored are fucking up. They shouldn't just be killing people. Even though it's against the law to share dangerous knowledge, I mean, it happens. So, the wisdom of the sages and knowledge of the Vellum Citadel were too important to silence. The Disfavored balked at entering the Archon's service, but he ruling left them with no recourse. Archon Siren delighted in having new toys to play with, and promptly enthralled her personal guard. He spotted them camped days later, following their new mistress with wide-eyed devotion. So yeah, that's scary as fuck, right? Siren composed songs of strength and provoked bloody slaughter. Or Spy Master's agents' suspicions arose when sages surrendered. Huh. Let's keep going Archon of Song, right? So the Archon of Song inside Scarlet Chorus recruits to fight their leaders. Bosses were killed and supplanted left and right. Disfavored demanded an end to the practice for the good of the conquest. You agreed with the Disfavored arguments. The right of command had its place, but not when Kairos' forces were outnumbered and reinforcements were weeks behind, if not longer. You ruled that each Archon had the right to govern their armies according to their nature. The right of command bred chaos, but it also ensured that the strongest rise to lead. That is true. That's a Scarlet Chorus thing. It's not tactically sound, but I mean, it's sort of the law, right? Your keen understanding of their ways pleased and surprised the Scarlet Chorus detachment, who thanked you for the ruling. The following evening, 2 gang bosses were murdered in their pallets and replaced by stronger variants who fought hard to defend their status. Though the camp grew quieter over time, the chorus fought with twice the ferocity under new leadership. The Edict of Fire. Disgusted by your approbation of the Scarlet Chorus, the Disfavored forces withdrew from the field of battle. Your small detachment now lacked the manpower to take the Vellum Citadel. Tunin sent word that Kairos' patience had run thin. The Overlord would cast an Edict of Fire on the enemy. The parchment arrived in a slender case of engraved iron. Written on it, the words of a spell powerful enough to destroy the Vellum Citadel. You had the choice of when to read the edict. Reading it at sunrise would offer your enemies no warning of the devastation to come. You can also wait until sunset, giving them ample time to flee or make amends. So we get to choose. We can give no warning. I'm going to give the enemy no quarter. You proclaim the Edict of Fire at the first moment of dawn, granting the enemy no warning of destruction to come. Though the chorus insisted your actions doom their spies, the Disfavored applauded your decision. Claiming they still had spies within the Citadel, the Scarlet Chorus urged you to warn the mages of the Overlord's edict. Granting their request, you met with the enemy under a blue flag apiece and warned them of their doom, giving the chorus spies and the enemy a chance to run. I like doing that. You confront the mages with a warning and hope the message was received. The hour before sunset, numerous figures were spotted fleeing the citadel. As the sun dipped under the horizon, you read the words of the edict. Their shook and red-orange light glowed in the foundations of the sprawling citadel. Bubbling up from under the library, a torrent of lava heaved with explosive force, gushing from windows and between loose bricks, melting winding trenches in the surrounding land. Days later, the flames still raged on, the conflagration continually fed and renewed by the power of the edict. So edicts are like magic fucking, scrolls. The edict fire, the armies of Kairos left devastation of the Vellum Citadel in silence. At day 4, the Tears came to know the once noble citadel as the Burning Library. There was an indisputed loss of resources, knowledge, culture, and life, but a message had been sent. The Overlord would not tolerate defiance. Didn't have long to rest before Tun called you into service once more. You're one of the last to depart from the mountains, and as you journeyed off, you spot a few campfires in the mountains. They were mere specks dwarfed by the inferno. The last gasps of the survivors, or perhaps looters from Kairos' armies, bored and daring enough to pick through the ashes. Alright. I think that's it. Yeah. So, for that last one, there's actually 3. So there are currently 3 edicts that are active in the tiers. So there's the Edict of Fire, there's an Edict of Stone, and I don't know what the fuck the last one is. It's probably Water, Earth, Heart, I don't know. But essentially, the Edict says everyone has to do this. So it's you guys have to work together, or you guys have to kill the last person in the bloodline, or you have to make sure that the library is completely thrown out of people or some shit. You have to eat 5 sandwiches or you'll fucking die. That's basically the edicts. Yeah, let's just continue, right? So I think I'm just gonna save as soon as I can. And then we'll continue later. So I think that this is a good start. I really like Tyranny. Like I said, I really like Tyranny. I really liked Pillars of Eternity. There were some mistakes in that game that I didn't really like, but that's me personally. I think that this game was a really good, secondary game. It's something that I played a couple hours in, and...
The year is 431, and Kairos' invasion has shattered all major opposition in the tiers. The Younger Realms, the Bastard Tier, the Free Cities. All who defied Kairos lay broken by battle, or bowed in surrender. The 2 armies of the Overlord, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, now control our lands. But our will is not yet extinguished. Not entirely. In the Valley of Vendrian's Well, those of us unwilling to bow to Kairos have banded together in defiance. Violating an oath of surrender from 2 years prior, we have staged a bloody uprising, murdering the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus garrison in a midnight assault. With their main forces spread across the tiers, the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus redeploy to Vendrian's Well to crush the resistance, but months pass with no definitive battle. As disagreement and discord paralyze the Archons, we bide our time and wait for our message of insurrection to spread across the tiers. The Overlord is not amused, and Kairos has one message for the Archons: crush the Oathbreakers or die. Kairos backs this threat with an edict, a magical commandment that can slay all in the valley should the order be ignored. The honor of proclaiming this edict fell to you. Sent across the mountains to Vendrian's Well, you carry the Overlord's edict to read before the Archons. As you finally make your way through the winding mountain passes into the valley, the ground trembles, and Kairos' magic seals the way behind you. You are trapped in Vendrian's Well, with Kairos' armies and the Oathbreakers. The only way to survive is to fulfill the terms of the Overlord's edict, in any way that you can.
So that sounds way more difficult than it is. I'm not gonna lie. Alright, so made it through. Fatebiter Linux, I presume. We've been expecting you. Alright. So we'll talk to Aurora in a little bit later. I want to save the game here. Lanchan. Oh, that was the last one's name. Damn, fucking got him good. Yeah, let's just save, and then I'm probably just gonna delete these. I forgot about Lanchan, dude. But yeah, let's go main menu. Alright, so that's the start. My new series of Tyranny. If you think that you might be interested in this game, I really suggest that you watch the second video. You know, the first one is more, you know, as you saw, it's all about character customization, choosing your own path and stuff. My recommendation is check out the second video, see if the gameplay is something that you like. I believe it's more like an isometric RPG. It plays like Baldur's Gate, games like that. So it's not like Knights of the Republic where it's more turn-based, or, well, that wasn't turn-based, but it's not really turn-based or anything. I highly enjoy the game, and I think that you guys should check it out as well. You know, other than that, I hope that everyone has a great day, great week, great year, great millennia. This is Black Mamba 44, out.